So I've received the script for the film that we're going to be producing for my university project. Let me just find it now for you. Bear with me. Gotta go through my emails. Here it is. I will possibly, I probably will be uploading a picture of the script as well, so you can know what I'm talking about. So, it starts off with the flash of a camera bulb. Now I'm guessing that would be done in post-production. And I'd have a close-up of the camera bulb. But I should probably start off with, the first shot is an interior shot, which is the scene of the crime during the daytime. So I have to make sure we get some sunlight coming through that the camera can pick up. I remember at the location there was a couple of windows, so hopefully we can work with that. It says an images of a dead body tied to a chair, black and white forensic still photos. The victim is Tony, and we can see that he's been stabbed multiple times. So there will be a close-up of these forensic still photos, I imagine, with the images of the dead body tied to a chair. Police tape across a doorway looking onto the scene, so I think maybe like a mid-shot or a long shot, just to establish where the police tape is in connection to the rest of the room. Barney, a forensic officer, is examining the dead man, so a mid-shot maybe of the forensic officer looking over the dead man's body, possibly from the side, so you can see both the dead man and Barney. And it says, Ivan, the detective on the scene, lurks in the background, keen eyes taking in details. So I could do a action shot from the forensic officer examining the dead man to Ivan just lurking in the background in the shadow. Keep him out of the sunlight maybe to make him look more mysterious. And then cut back to the forensic officer examining the dead man. It says, through a doorway into a hallway, he sees a payphone. So obviously there'll be two rooms. And Ivan... Oh, okay, so Ivan is the one looking through the wall. Okay, so forget the short action shot. We'll just have it go from the forensic officer examining the dead man to a mid-shot of Ivan, and then a short action shot as we see Ivan look through a doorway into a hallway, and then back onto Ivan and a close-up of his eyes narrowing as he walks over to it. So this would be good. So I do the close-up of the shot of his eyes narrowing to convey emotional connection, to show that obviously this phone means something, and then another shot will be like a mid-shot, so we see him walking over to the payphone, pulling on the white gloves as he does so. So maybe could get a close-up of him putting the white gloves on. Then it says, internal scene, hallway continuous, so this will obviously be in the hallway now. So as he approaches the payphone, I can do a close-up as he runs his fingertips lightly over the handset on the top of the payphone. Keep following and close-up as his finger goes across the slot where the quarter's going. And then maybe a shot around the side of the phone, another close-up where there's an empty socket and strands of wire protruding. Maybe then cut back to him looking confused or intrigued. And then another close-up as you can see that the phone handset has been ripped from the device and the cable is dangling by its side. And then it says Ivan's brow furrows, so that will be close-up so we can see as he imagines the scene from the night before when the victim was killed. Then it goes to a flashback, internal in that hallway at night time, and it has the victim on, I think it's the victim Tony, yeah, if I'm correct. Tony, or a guy called Tony, is on the phone, on a payphone. He's agitated, so I guess like a mid-shot of that from behind or from the side, so you can see his face, you can see the emotion on his face to show he's agitated, fumbling the coins as he pumps them into the slot, so maybe a close-up of him struggling to put the coins into the slot. Because I'm guessing it'll be like dark, so I'll bring the ISO down on the camera just so there's less light hitting, just so the sensor picks up less light to give it a dark, mysterious, crime-watchy sort of noir feel. And then Tony says, "It's me," and the voice down the line shouts angrily, and Tony interrupts. So I'll keep that as, I guess, either a mid-shot on him from the side or a close-up of him talking into the phone. Then it says, Tony says, "Shut the hell up, Max, this is important." The force of Tony's voice commands silence down the line. And then he says, "It's Duke." And then it goes back to a different scene now. We're internal. I think this is back to the present day, yep. Into the crime scene. So, that was the flashback. Now we're back in the present. In this crime scene room, Barney examines the victim's neck. So we'll have a shot of Barney, the forensics officer, examining the neck, maybe a close-up of him using his fingers to touch the neck to have a look. Barney says, "Ligature marks around the neck and throat." So I'll have to make sure there is a close-up so I can get them on camera. Ivan stands in the doorway listening as Barney looks up, so a shot-to-action shot of from Barney to Ivan standing in the doorway, back to Barney looking up at Ivan. And then Barney says, "Looks like he was strangled before he was stabbed." And then cut back to Ivan, holding up the telephone receiver with the cable dangling from it, saying, "Guess he dialed the wrong number." Then it goes back to a flashback, internal, in the hallway at night time. Back to Tony on the phone, his voice low and urgent. So we'll have a mid-shot of that, probably. From the sides, you can see both the phone and Tony. Tony says, "He's playing both sides." "Yes, Duke, of course I'm sure. Would I call if I wasn't sure?" There is a creak of a floorboard and Tony freezes. So maybe I can get a shot looking away from Tony into the rest of the room then. And then a shot-to-action shot. And then from the room, you'll look back at Tony and you'll see him freeze. And the voice on the end of the line can be heard running away. A close-up here on Tony's eyes as they are wide, paranoid, and his voice a furious whisper. He said, "For God's sakes, be quiet." Then it comes back to the present, internal crime scene. Barney hands Ivan an evidence bag, into which Ivan places a telephone handset. So there we can have a two-shot so you can see both the officers. And then Barney says, "You think he was making a call when he, and Barney mimes strangulation. Ivan nods slowly, so I could do a close-up of Ivan nodding, visualising the attack. So he'll be staring past Barney, I think, looking at the floor, trying to remember the attack, or think of the attack. Ivan says, "Got his back to the hallway, wrapped up in the cool." Flashback, can feel it building up now, I think. Internal, in the hallway. Tony is frozen like a rabbit, so it's back onto that close-up of Tony just frozen there. Every sense extended, the surroundings seem early still. Ivan off-screen, so this is obviously, as the present people are talking, it's happening in the flashback, which is what the audience will see. Slowly, Tony makes to place the handset down, so we can go to a mid-shot there so we can see the environment and him putting the handset down. From nowhere, a dark figure emerges behind him, one hand clamped over his mouth while the other grabs the handset and wraps a cable around his neck. So yeah, definitely a mid-shot or even a long shot for this. Make sure that the light is coming from behind the killer here, so you can't really see him, so it's dark. So he's just a shadow. The struggle is almost silent, the two men straining against each other. A dark figure unidentified as he pulls Tony backwards with the phone cord wrapped around his throat. So yeah, I think it would be best to keep this as a long shot just so you can see everything going on. Again, hopefully get it so the light, if there is light, is behind the killer, so he comes off as a shadow. If that doesn't work there and then, maybe something can be done in post. But I think definitely if we just get him looking dark so we can't tell who the killer is. The cable snaps free from the main body of the phone and Tony falls to the floor barely conscious, so we can have a close-up of the cable snapping from the phone, and then we can go back to a mid-shot of Tony falling to the floor, and maybe then a close-up of Tony's face, so you can see that he is barely conscious as he lays on the floor. And then Barney says off-screen, "So why is the body in the chair?" And it comes back to present day, back in internal crime scene. Barney shoots Ivan a curious look, so we'll give a close-up of that. The detective seems brooding even by his own gloomy standards. Barney says, "Boss?" questioning. Ivan says, "To send a message." So, back to the flashback. Be an internal crime scene. The montage sequence this is. The groggy Tony being dragged into the chair, roughly held down, punched to subdue him. So we can have the mid-shot of Tony being dragged there. Maybe close-ups of him being punched. Obviously we'll have to do a bit of camera trickery there, because we don't want any actors actually being harmed during the making of the film. I think there'd be some risk assessments involved there. His arms being tied to the arms of the chair, so we can get a quick close-up of the killer tying Tony's arms to the chair. Tony strains against the bonds, so we can maybe get a close-up of Tony's face really struggling, just so we can see, maybe get a sweat droplet come up on camera just to show how intense this scene is. And Tony says, "Duke, please, I didn't say nothing, you gotta believe me." Obviously this is all set in LA, I think. Obviously this is all set in America, so there won't be an English accent, but I'm not very good at American accents, so I won't bother trying that. He says, "Duke, please, I didn't say nothing, you've got to believe me." The glint of a blade being drawn. Now this would be good if I can get the light, get the close-up of the blade, and if we can get a light to shine, like a handheld light, shine that against the blade, so that the glint of the blade really shows up on camera and becomes really effective for the audience, to show that it's really sharp and quite dangerous. And we come back to the present, internal crime scene. Barney regards Ivan uneasily, so we can have a close-up of that. And then Barney says, "Who's the message to?" And then we have another flashback back to the internal hallway at the night time. You see Tony's eyes fill with tears as he looks up at the dark figure looming towards him, so that will definitely be a close-up. Again, use of handheld lights throughout this film, like, that's inevitable, it's got to be done. Inevitable, whatever the word is. To really get the shine, maybe use to really get the shine, and just, if you get a light on the actor's eye, it'll just look so good on camera, so try and do that. Maybe get our actor to think of something sad so we can get a little tear on camera. That would work really well. Really authentic and realistic that would be. So we'll see about that. And Tony says, "Dude." Oh, not dude. Tony says, "Duke, no." And then the hand holding the dagger jabs forward, so we can have close-up, because we don't want to see the killer's face, so we'll have to have a close-up of the killer's hand as it jabs forward, and the knife sticks into Tony's chest once, twice, 3 times, so we can be like doing shot-to-action shots of the dagger going in, and a shot of Tony's face as he's being stabbed. Hopefully we can have him cry, and maybe we'll use some water to splash on his face for sweat. Put a light there and it will make it look like sweat more than just water being on his face. Maybe some tears. And then it goes back to the present, crime scene internal. Detective Ivan Duke shrugs. So this is where we find out that it's a detective. Spoiler. Ivan says, "Get those shots developed. Send copies to the press agencies. See if we can catch the evening edition, then maybe we'll find out." Ivan smiles coldly, so that will be a extreme close-up, I think, to convey that this is where the audience find out that Ivan's not just a detective, but he also was the one that killed Tony. Then we go back to a flashback, internal crime scene. Tony shudders and dies, so that will be close up on Tony. Oh no, the dark figure looms out of the shadows, so maybe a mid-shot so we can see the dark figure doing that. His eyes cold and heartless. Here we go for the close-up, and you can see that it's Ivan. So I'm guessing he can give a look to the camera, just to show that that is who that is. And then we go back to the present day in the crime scene, internal. The two officers depart, ducking under the police tape. Ivan glances back at the dead body in the chair, then exits. So that, I guess, can be a long shot. So we can see both the officers depart. We can see the scenery and the surroundings. We can see them duck under the police tape, and then maybe we can either keep it as a long shot as Ivan glances back at the body in the chair, or we could then go to a close-up as Ivan slowly turns round and looks past the camera as if he is glancing back at the body in the chair, and then go back to the long shot and Ivan will exit. And then I guess fade to black, and that will be the film done. So obviously it depends on what the director wants and the cinematographer, but that's just my ideas as I've gone through and read the script review. We'll see what happens. Stay posted.